Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for chapter 3, Geography, part 1, Drainage. In this video, we are going to discuss about drainage, the Himalayan river, the peninsular rivers. In that, we have the Himalayan rivers with subtopic the Indus river system and the Ganga river system. So these are some of the important topics which we are going to discuss in this video. So here we will start with the topic drainage. So the word drainage describes the river system of an area. When you will go through the map, you will find that there are small streams flowing from different directions. These small streams come together and they form the main river. And these rivers drains into a large water body like sea or ocean. Now the area which is drained by a single river system, that area is called drainage basin. Now if there is a river and there is any of the elevated area in between, like you have mountains or an upland. So if there is mountain or upland in between the area where is the drainage basin, that will separate two drainage basins. And this kind of upland is called water divide because they divide the water. You can see in the picture also, there are streams, stream A and stream B is there. It would have been mixed together. It would have been connected together if there would be no water divide in between. But you can see water divide is there and it is dividing these two streams. World's largest drainage basin is of Amazon River. You have a task here. You need to find out which river has the largest basin in India. So now we will discuss about drainage systems in India. Now the drainage system is divided into two major groups, the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. Now these two groups, Himalayan river and peninsular rivers, they have been originated with two different places. The Himalayan rivers have originated from the ice caps, the glaciers of Mount Himalayas. And the peninsular rivers have originated from the Western Ghats. Now these Himalayan and peninsular rivers, they are different from each other in many ways. First, as per their origin, the Himalayan rivers originate from the ice mountains of Himalaya, and the peninsular rivers originate from the Western Ghats. Now the Himalayan rivers are perennial. Perennial means they have water throughout the year. But when we talk about the peninsular rivers, they are seasonal rivers. They don't have water throughout the year. Now these Himalayan rivers, they receive water from rain as well as from melted snow from the lofty mountains. But when we talk about the peninsular rivers, they only receive water through rain. Now the Himalayan rivers have long courses from their source to sea. But if you compare the peninsular rivers, they are shorter. They start from Western Ghat and most of them drain into the Bay of Bengal. So they are short rivers compared to the Himalayan rivers. Now when we talk about the Himalayan rivers, we have in this Brahmaputra, Ganga. These rivers are the main rivers of Himalayan rivers. And they have cut through the mountains, making gorges. Now the Himalayan rivers, they perform intensive erosional activity in their upper courses. They carry huge loads of silt and sand in the middle and lower courses. And these rivers form meanders, oxbow, lakes, and many other depositional features in their floodplains. Also, these Himalayan rivers, they have well developed deltas. So you can see in the picture also, as you must be knowing that rivers have three courses: upper course, middle course and lower course, and it originate from the upper course, start from the upper course, and it ends at the lower course. So when they are in the upper course, they are actually in the mountain valleys. They come through the mountain valleys and then they reach to the plain in the middle course, and there they form a meander, and when they go ahead to the lower course, they form oxbow lakes, and after that they form deltas and they drain into the larger water bodies. So this is a journey of the river. Now when we talk about the peninsular rivers, we already discussed they are seasonal. They only get water through rainfall. Now during dry seasons, if you talk about the large rivers, they also reduce flow of water in their channels. Also we discussed that peninsular rivers have shorter and shallower courses if you compare to Himalayan counterparts. And as we already discussed that most of the rivers of peninsular India, they originate in Western Ghat and they drain into the Bay of Bengal. So you would have understood the difference between the Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. Now we will go ahead with our topic, the Himalayan rivers. So here we have our topic, the Himalayan rivers. So the major Himalayan rivers are the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, which we have already discussed. And these rivers are long and they are joined by many large and important tributaries. Now a river along with its tributaries forms a river system. And here we will discuss about different river systems. So first we have the Indus river system. Now this Indus river rises in Tibet near the lake of Mansarovar. Then it flows towards west and it enters into India in Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. Now then it goes to the Pakistan and at last it drain into the Arabian Sea in the east of Karachi. So this is the journey. It starts from Tibet, then Jammu and Kashmir, then Pakistan and then Arabian Sea. So this is the journey of Indus river system. Now after entering Jammu and Kashmir, it forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Now in Kashmir region, there are many tributaries which join this river. So those are Jaskar, the Nubra, the Shyok, the Hunza. So these are the tributaries which join this river in the Kashmir region. Now after Jammu and Kashmir, it flows through Balistan and Gilgit. And it emerged from the mountains at Attock. Now when it enters in the Pakistan, there are more tributaries. Sorry, when it enters into Pakistan, there are more tributaries which join this river. So those are Satluj, the Bees, the Ravi, the Chenab, and the Jhelum. They join together uh, to this river near Mithankot in Pakistan. So in Jammu and Kashmir, some of the tributaries are there, and then in Pakistan also, some tributaries join this river. And at last, it reached to the Arabian Sea, which is in the east of Karachi. Now, this river has a very gentle slope. The plain of this river has very gentle slope. The length of the river is 2,900 kilometer. It is the longest rivers of the world. Now, a little over a third of the Indus basin is located in India, which is in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Also, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. And a rest of this river lies in Pakistan. So the main things which you need to keep in mind about this river is it starts from Tibet, then it enters to Jammu and Kashmir, then it goes to Pakistan, and then finally it reaches to Arabian Sea. The length of the river is 2,900 kilometer. It is the longest river of the world. Now the main tributaries are Satluj, Ravi, the Chenab, the Jhelum. These are the main tributaries of this river. So these are some important things which you need to keep in mind about this river system. Now there was a Indus Water Treaty which was there in 1960. According to this, India can use only 20% of the total water which is carried by Indus river system. And this water is used for irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, and the southern and the western part of Rajasthan. Then we have the Ganga river system. Now the headwater of Ganga is called the Bhagirathi, and it is fed by the Gangotri glacier, which is joined by Alaknanda at Devprayag, which is in Uttarakhand. Now at Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. You can have a look in the map, the major rivers of India. You can see the major rivers and major lakes. Now the Ganga is also joined by many tributaries from Himalayas. Like you have Yamuna, the Ghagra, the Gandak, and the Koshi. These are the tributaries which join the Ganga. Now the Yamuna river rises from the Yamunotri glacier, which is in Himalayas. And this Yamuna flows parallel to the Ganga. And it meets the Ganga at Allahabad. Now the Ghagra, the Gandak, and the Koshi, they rise in Nepal Himalaya. The Himalaya which is in the Nepal. And because of these rivers, we have flood in our northern plains every year. And it causes damage to life, property. With this, they also enrich the soil for agricultural use. Now the main tributaries which come from peninsular uplands are Chambal, the Betwa and the Son. They have shorter courses and they do not carry much water in them. Now you need to find out where these tributaries join the Ganga. So this is the task which you need to do. So Ganga flows eastwards till Farakka in West Bengal. And this area is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta. And here the river bifurcates, and a distributary we have the Bhagirathi Hooghly, which flows southwards through the deltaic plains and it goes to Bay of Bengal. And the main stream Ganga flows southwards into the Bangladesh, and there it is joined by the Brahmaputra. Now there it is known as Meghna, and this river which is having the water from Ganga and Brahmaputra both, it flows into the Bay of Bengal. Now the delta which is formed by this river is called Sundarban Delta. So Sundarban Delta is the largest delta which is formed by the Ganga and Brahmaputra river. The length of Ganga is over 2500 km. Now Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and Ganga river system. And the plain from Ambala to Sundarban, it stretch over 1800 km. It has the falls also in its slope, which is hardly 300 meters. So the river develops large meanders because of this. So the important points about this Ganga river system is it starts from Uttarakhand and it ends in the Bay of Bengal. It has main tributaries as Yamuna, the Ghagra, the Gandak and the Koshi. Now it meets the river Yamuna at Allahabad. Now if you talk about the main tributaries of peninsular uplands, it has the Chambal, the Betwa and the Son. The delta which is formed by the river Brahmaputra and Ganga is called Sundarban Delta, which is the world's largest delta. Now the Sundarban Delta derives its name from the Sundari tree. It grows well in marshlands, and this area is having this Sundari tree, and because of this tree only it got its name. It is the world's largest and fastest growing delta. Also, this is home of Royal Bengal tiger. Now, one more thing you need to remember, the length of the river. The length of the river is 2500 kilometers. So, these are some of the important topics. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.